Hey there. Today I want to talk about not waiting to start. Um, I think that a lot of people want to create content. They want to build a presence online. They want to share their knowledge, their expertise. They want to create a YouTube channel. They want to create a podcast. They just want to be doing more online. They want to be doing more, in content creation to build their brand and get momentum in what they're trying to create in the world. And I think the number one problem or the number one obstacle people have is they wait for the optimal conditions that never arrive. And, I can say that this is true for me. Now, I've had podcasts over the years. I go on podcasts as a guest. I actually just recorded a podcast before this as a guest on a show. Um, Not a huge show. It's like a small show in a niche. But I'm, I've been, I've created content before, but not with consistency and not with clear intentionality. I've started and stopped things along the way. And honestly, this has probably been the case for the last 7 or 8 years. I would say probably since about 2017 or 18 is when I really started thinking about I wanted to create digital assets. I wanted to create a digital presence. I wanted to create a brand online and educate people, talk about what I know, create value through these channels. And so I've noticed that there was a series of things that got in my way along the way. Number one, there's like the imposter syndrome that will never go away. No matter how successful you are, no matter how much knowledge you have, no matter how much value you really can create in the world, there's just something inside of us, many of us, that will never go away. That's like, you know, makes you believe like you don't really have that much to offer. And that the world doesn't need or might not respond to you giving what you have to offer in your voice. Um, Feeling like you haven't arrived yet. If you don't have a, $100,000 a year business yet, then you got to wait till you get that. And then it's like, oh no, I got to have a 7-figure business before I have, you know, I'm worthy to share or whatever. That imposter syndrome doesn't really go away. I can attest to this myself. I know other people that will attest to this. And often you just have to push through that. It's a bit of resistance that just gets in the way from creating things that you want to create. The second thing is the knowledge problem, which is this idea that you have all of the knowledge that you have, and you take for granted a lot of the knowledge and expertise and wisdom that you have that you could share with somebody else that they might benefit from. And you don't recognize how valuable what you know and take for granted could be for somebody who's not where you are. In my situation, I've been in video production for 15 years. I've been involved in the direct response marketing and digital marketing space for 10 years. I've done everything from, run my own YouTube ads, run YouTube ads or for clients, Facebook ads, all of the different digital media stuff. I've been behind the hood of all that stuff. I don't particularly enjoy it, but I have more knowledge about all of that stuff than most business owners have. When it comes to content and video production, I have more knowledge and experience than many people who are in the world of video production that, many of whom have, not necessarily many of whom, but some of whom have bigger businesses than I do, and are younger than me. Um, and so just recognizing how much that I have to offer, how much that you have to offer, and by simply creating it and putting it into the world, it's, can be just really useful and have an impact, and people will respond to it you might not expect. Um, there's this other concept where in order to get at the knowledge that you have and that you do want to share, I've heard it referred to as the dear son method, which is when you sit down and think about what you want to record and what you want to share and the knowledge that you want to impart, think of it as speaking to yourself 10 years ago when you first got started. What are the things that you would like to learn? Or as though you're giving a message or imparting information and knowledge to, your young son who's going to grow up. What do you want them to know about whatever that domain of expertise is that you have? So, imposter syndrome, the knowledge problem. The other thing is waiting for optimal conditions in the production environment. So, like right now, I'm sitting in a studio that I have that I only just built 2 years ago. It's a great, sound deadened place. I have it privately to myself. I can record out here anytime I want. It's just in my backyard. Um, I have loads of video production equipment. I mean, I'm not going to rattle off the different gear, but you know, camera bodies that are worth $4,000 or $5,000, $10,000 or more worth of lenses, $10,000 worth of lighting equipment and gear and rigging. Multiple camera bodies. Um, you know, I have an entire 10 by 10 storage, climate controlled storage with all of the production gear that I have. And there's a second one across town that has additional production gear. So I have more production gear than anybody could possibly want or need to create YouTube videos. And yet, all along the way, I've had an obstacle around wanting to make sure that the lighting was perfect and the gear was perfect and the sound was perfect and everything was perfect because after all, I'm in production. So I can't put anything out in the world that's like substandard. It's got to have this high level of production value or whatever. And then I just realized, that was just not going to happen, or wasn't going to happen now. So I've got what are minimal tools, by my standards. And yet for most of you out there who might be watching this, like you may not even have the what quote unquote minimal tools that I have. You may only have your cell phone. You may not even have anything more than just like some earbuds to go along with it to get the audio, you know. And what I would say is like, don't let that stand in your way. I let that stand in my way for a long time. It kept me from getting out there. It kept me from putting my message out there, from trying to share what I know and get an audience. So you can let these technical obstacles get in the way. The other thing you can let get in the way is just like tech overwhelm, you know, being frozen, not knowing what kind of, how am I going to record this? Like, am I going to, okay, now I got to make thumbnails and slides and I've got to do it this way. And, you know, like now I've got to write my YouTube description and I got to come up with a cool title and I got to do, this, that, and the other thing. There's all of these conditions that you think you've got to employ in order to make the content look and sound and be the right thing, and then the technology that you use to put it online and all of the writing that's involved, just all of these different steps that again, they just get in your way. And I think if you look at anybody who's created content online for a while, you're going to be able to look back and see what they recorded at the very beginning, and it's not very good. But that leads me to the other thing, which is authenticity. Not being afraid to just be yourself and be authentic, to not try to act like you know more than you know, to not try to pretend like you have expertise in some domain of knowledge that you don't really have expertise. Um, Also, not being afraid to do things differently than the way everybody else tells you to do things. I have a goal to put out 100 videos here in roughly the next 100 days. And in order to do that, sometimes I just got to press record and I just have to talk. And then I have to create a thumbnail in 5 minutes. And then I have to, you know, basically just hope that it all works and goes well and whatnot, and then upload it and then just move on, because I got to create another video tomorrow and I have to have something of value to say to create value in the world. And, I barely thought about what I was going to say for this for like more than 5 minutes. I just recognized like, oh, I need to make a video tonight. What do I want to make it about? And I was like, oh, I'll just talk about the things that get in your way of not doing things, earlier. And so, you know, start now. Like, don't let these obstacles get in your way. Don't let the thoughts that come in your mind that make you feel like, you know, you don't matter or you can't make an impact or you don't have something to share. That's just not true. Like, the world is waiting for you to step out there and to put yourself out there and to say what you have to say in exactly the way you want to say it, the way that it occurs for you, to inject it with the personality that you have and make it your own. There's really not that much new information in the world. There's just new ways of thinking about the same information, or there's new ways of learning about something, or there's new ways of applying something. And so this does go a little bit back into my career capital episode, which was episode 2 of this journey, which is taking an inventory of what you have that's an asset that you can use to create value in the world. And through that process, you'll discover many things that you have that you can share, that you can put out into the world to make an impact on somebody else's life and their journey, where they're trying to go. They will see you as somebody who's further along, and you only have to be 1 or 2 steps further ahead than somebody else to be able to have an impact on their journey. So, anyway, so I just wanted to talk about, it's from my own failure of not starting earlier, not starting years ago. I'd be so much further ahead. And yet the content I would have made back then would have been a lot different. I have a lot more clarity about what I want to talk about, what I want to say, what kind of impact I want to have, who I want to be in the world, and what I want to do. And so I don't look at it with like a ton of regret. It's just like, it is what it is. And I'm here now and I'm doing this now. And I would encourage you to do the same, whatever it is you're looking to create. And yeah, so I thank you for listening. Subscribe, like, help me build the channel. If you got anything from here, comment and let me know the value you got from it. If you have any questions, I'd love to get some comments so that I can use that to mine it for content about what I'm going to talk in the rest of the videos, because I've got like 95 more to make.